said, quote, "I didn't do it," just before he was executed by lethal injection at a federal prison in Terre Haute, Indiana this morning. It's the first execution by the Bureau of Prisons since 2003, after Attorney General Bill Barr ordered the federal government to reinstate the death penalty.
Polls indicate Joe Biden may have some traction in traditional red states. CBS's Ed O'Keefe says that means voters in some of those places may see more of the presumptive Democratic nominee.
Joe Biden is expanding his TV ad campaign to 4 more swing states. The Biden campaign announcing today it's airing ads now in Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, and Texas. The Lone Star State is a Republican stronghold that the Biden campaign now believes is within reach.
Well, Delta is the first airline to report financial results for the second quarter of the year, and the numbers are grim. The airline says it lost $5.7 billion as the virus infected travel plans all over. Our travel advisor, Peter Greenberg.
Delta had tried to avoid furloughs by offering employees an exit package, and already about 15,000 Delta workers had expressed interest in the offer. American Airlines has already stated it thinks it has 8,000 flight attendants too many. And Southwest has already offered their workers a voluntary incentive program to leave the airline. The deadline to make that decision is tomorrow.
Well, Delta says it plans to limit flight capacity through the end of September. Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 172 points. This is CBS News.
Why settle for average? With Capital One, you can open a new savings account with a rate 5 times the national average. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet? Capital One N.A., member FDIC.
It's 8:03 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS, turning into another sunny day in the 70s and 80s around the Bay Area. Good morning, I'm Stan Bunker, and here's what's happening. The rapid rise in cases statewide for COVID-19 being fueled by a big jump in infections among younger people. A look at state data shows a 92% increase in cases among 18 to 34-year-olds over the last 2 weeks. This as the Bay Area's 9 counties now count nearly 600 people in the hospital with COVID-19. That's the highest number since the pandemic began. Statewide, nearly 6,500 people under hospitalization for COVID-19. That's a jump of more than 25% in the last 2 weeks. The rising case rate means bars and restaurants, gyms and churches are shutting down again. The new rules coming out of Sacramento. KCBS reporter Tim Ryan with word that Santa Clara County, where there's been a sharp rise in positive cases and hospitalizations, is certainly no exception. Tim?
Yes, Dan, Santa Clara added to the governor's watch list with its additional restrictions. Monday was notably bad with 253 new cases recorded, 33 new hospitalizations and 1 more death, closing immediately where restaurants, wineries, bars, breweries, and movie theaters. Think of the number of jobs those hold. After today, closures include gyms, barbershops, and hair salons, churches, shopping malls, and non-essential offices. Those all set to close tonight at midnight in Santa Clara County. Still allowed is construction. Christian Rodriguez is a pipe fitter working on a massive new Google headquarters in Mountain View. He says several coworkers have contracted the virus and there's tension on the job site. He says the macho attitude of construction workers is real and during a pandemic, not real helpful.
The hangover or some sneezing, a sore throat, something that you can work with that's not too bad, could be just early signs of COVID, and more than likely people are still going to try and go to work.
Santa Clara is second to Alameda in the total number of cases with more than 6,500. The additional death on Monday brought that total to 167, certainly an unwanted top position here in the Bay Area. Reporting live, Tim Ryan, KCBS.
Thank you, Tim. Now, the frustration is mounting in Santa Clara County with this latest health order. KCBS's Keith Manconi looks at that.
The grand reopening of Performance Gains Gym in Palo Alto seems to be off to a promising start. The trainers were masked, the cleaning supplies were ready, they even had a handful of socially distanced customers. But then, signs of trouble.
First one text saying, "Did you hear that California might be shutting down again?" Then another text.
Co-owner Chris Gaines says he soon learned that the new health orders from Governor Newsom would mean that after all that, his gym and many other just opened businesses in Santa Clara County would be shutting right back down on Wednesday.
It's frustrating, to say the least.
Especially since this is not the first, second, or even the third time that this reopening plan has been changed.
These uncertainties they affect not just businesses, but they affect real people and their livelihoods.
But frustrating or no, Gaines says he understands safety does need to come first. In the Silicon Valley Bureau, Keith Menconi, KCBS.
Despite the rollback of indoor businesses and services, Alameda County expected to push ahead for special permission to reopen things like the Oakland Zoo. KCBS's Holly Kwan joining us live now. Holly, the future of that zoo could well depend on getting back in business.
Yes, Dan, Alameda County, the only one in the state not to have applied for special permission to be able to restart certain businesses when conditions allow. Today, the Board of Supervisors expected to move forward with that request for variance, which would allow the cash-strapped Oakland Zoo to survive. Right now, the governor has ordered all indoor parts of zoos and museums closed, but places like the San Francisco and Oakland zoos maintain their primarily an outdoor activity. Oakland Zoo CEO Dr. Joel Parrott says the plan is to cap attendance at 2,500.
You only briefly pass anybody on the pathways. So if we limit the number of people who are here, and then on top of that, you can have social distancing. People have to wear a mask. We disinfect throughout the day. We have hand sanitizing stations. Then it can be a very safe, and not only safe, but healthy environment for people to get out of their houses and do things with their kids.
And his hope is that the zoo can welcome back guests by August because they're burning through $1 million a month in operating expenses, and there's only $3 million left in reserves. Reporting live, Holly Kwan, KCBS.
Thanks, Holly. Just ahead on KCBS, complaints about how the cops handled matters during the protests in Santa Rosa. Right now, it's a KCBS traffic update from your local Honda Dealers Traffic Center. Kim?
All right. It looks like we have a little better news coming out of the Central Valley. Last time we talked, Stan, there was a problem with a gravel or a rock spill that was affecting westbound 580 coming up from Patterson Pass right at that 205 interchange. So traffic is now flowing a lot better, but we still have a bit of a backup around Patterson Pass. So do expect delays there. Problems in Lafayette. We're getting word of some kind of debris in the roadway, and a bunch of cars with flat tires have pulled off to the side of West 24. This is just before you get to Acalane. So several cars with flat tires. It's the right lane. The slow lane is the one to stay out of. Looks like we may have a problem on the San Mateo Bridge. We're getting word of a stalled vehicle westbound. It's a truck that may have stalled out in the right lane, although it looks like it may be limping off to the Foster City side because traffic is starting to move through that corridor once again. Let's take another look at Pleasanton. Okay, boy, this looks a whole lot better from even when we talked last, Stan. Southbound 680. The only slow traffic left is right at that Sunol turnoff with Highway 84 coming off of Vallecito's. Much earlier problems have cleared away, and the backup, it took a while to thread your way through this, but things look a whole lot better. 84 is still pretty congested. It's getting better too, but we still have a lot of slow traffic reaching 680. Your next update, 8:18 on the Traffic Leader, KCBS.
It's turning sunny all over the Bay Area. The coastal strip may stay fogged in for a while and maybe even all day, and the fog will be back in tonight and tomorrow morning. Temperatures pretty similar to yesterday's, so mid-60s in San Francisco, mid-80s at the warmest spots. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
That's what sleeping with a CPAP sounds like. If you can't use CPAP, imagine pressing a button and it sounding like this. That's sleeping with Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body with one click of a remote. That's right, just a button. If you have sleep apnea, great sleep awaits at InspireSleep.com. That's InspireSleep.com. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
It just doesn't feel like summer without an ice cold Coca-Cola in your hand. Stop by AM/PM today and grab a 20-ounce bottle of Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar for $3.50. Or pick up even more delicious refreshment with a 20-ounce bottle of Diet Coke, Sprite, or Fanta. So no matter how you soak in that summer sun, at home or on the go, grab an ice cold Coca-Cola today and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Bill.
And I'm Kathleen, and we're the owners of American Vision Windows.
In celebration of 20 years, American Vision Windows is partnering with Simonton Windows to create our very own exclusive window.
Introducing the Inspiration Collection. See the difference that new windows can make in your home.
No payments, no interest up to 12 months, or payments as low as $99. Call 888-539-3344 or AmericanVisionWindows.com. CSLB number 778326 on approved credit. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Offer ends 7/31/2020.
Is
your sex life less than satisfying? Prime Male Medical has the solution, and they guarantee it.
We have a 99% success rate in treating ED.
That's Dr. Robert Rowley from Prime Male Medical. KCBS listeners, get your customized evaluation for just $99, which covers a full year of free visits, including a PSA test, testosterone test, and ultrasound. Call now, 415-761-4037, or go to primemalemedical.com. That's 415-761-4037.
KCBS News Time 8:11. There's a new report out detailing alleged incidents of excessive use of force by police during those protests recently in Santa Rosa. We hear more from KCBS's Mike DeWalt.
The 40-page report issued by the Sonoma County Commission on Human Rights details an extensive number of accounts by protesters.
Jail conditions and abuses during arrest, and officers not giving their names and badge numbers, and also disproportionate use of force against Black, Indigenous, Latinx.
Chairwoman Demetra Smith says her group wanted to set the record straight on what demonstrators felt was a false narrative about how the protests unfolded. Protesters are demanding an independent investigation of the police department, the banning of military-style gear, and a tactic known as kettling, as well as disciplinary action.
Against the officers that committed these offenses, with a minimum standard of termination of employment.
The report also references past incidents of police use of force, including the killings of Jeremiah Chass and Andy Lopez, as creating the historical backdrop for the protests. Santa Rosa's mayor tells KCBS the city will be releasing a statement today, and the report will be presented to both the Santa Rosa City Council and Sonoma County Board of Supervisors. In the North Bay, Mike DeWald, KCBS.
KCBS News Time, 8:13, sponsored by Star One Credit Union. Get totally free checking. Go to star1.org.
I'm Ray Cairns with Bayer. These are unprecedented times as we all do our part to fight the coronavirus. Bayer is proud to donate millions of medicines and over-the-counter products to help combat COVID-19. Our thoughts are with all Americans, but especially with the thousands of doctors, nurses, and first responders who are on the front lines in this battle. By coming together as a nation, America will see better days. So from all of us at Bayer, thank you and be safe.
Never paint your home again, go Rhino Shield.
We know that the last few months have been full of uncertainty, but there are still some things that remain constant. It's still as important as ever to keep your home beautiful and well maintained. And Rhino Shield is still the company you can trust to help you do just that. Rhino Shield is a permanent ceramic house paint that protects your home from the weather and puts a stop to the endless cycle of maintenance. It comes in any color, and it's guaranteed not to chip, crack, or peel like ordinary paint. By now, you've been hearing about Rhino Shield on KCBS for years. If you've ever thought about getting Rhino Shield for your home, now is the time to pick up the phone and call. We need to get our crews back to work, so we're offering our lowest prices ever. If this is your first time calling for an estimate, mention KCBS and save a full 20%. And if you have had an estimate from us in the past, call us now and we'll re-quote your job with the new discount. Call Rhino Shield today at 855-RHINO-55. That's 855-RHINO-55.
Oh, baby, baby, oops, I spilled it again. A grande decaf all over my dress. Oh, baby, baby, oops, I hope it comes off. And the worst part of all, I'm meeting management.
Get stains out of your clothes and out of your head with 10 times the cleaning power of Tide. It's gotta be Tide.
Making popcorn for movie night?
Whoa, who are you?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless. What if every time you tried a new streaming service, you had to buy a new TV?
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, some wireless companies do that when you switch.
Seriously, who are you?
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Oh, you're burning it.
Oh, no.
Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Coming up on KCBS, what about flying, and does keeping the middle seat free really make it safer? We'll talk to the author of a much-talked-about study looking into that question. KCBS News Time, 8:15. Steve Bitker with us now. The Giants and the A's ready to meet next week and have a little practice baseball before the real baseball starts, I guess.
Yeah, it's all happening next week, Stan. Giants and A's will meet Monday night in Oakland at 6:40, and then Tuesday night in San Francisco at 6:45. Both exhibition games to be televised locally. Then the Giants open the season Thursday night, the 23rd in L.A., and the A's open Friday night at home against the Angels. The A's, Matt Olson, meeting the press in a Zoom call yesterday, talked about, among other things, the challenge of playing first base with very little social distancing between himself and the base runner at first.
I don't think I'll be wearing a mask playing or anything. You know, I just got to trust that the guys on the other team are going to be smart too. And you know, if I get a guy too close to me, say, hey, you know, back up a little bit. But yeah, I think the whole plan of this is to be able to do this as normal as possible. If everybody's doing the right thing off the field, and when we get here, you know, the point is for us to be able to come here and play our normal game.
And the Giants' Mauricio Dubon on the challenge of working out during the shelter-in-place at his high-rise condo in Miami.
It was really fun because I had to improvise, I had to do a lot of stuff. So I remember me going to an Ace hardware store and buying PVC pipes and ordering a net on Amazon, just trying to make a little cage in the balcony. And then the Giants were sending me the weight programs. So I bought some dumbbells too, so I can start working out or build my own cage. So it actually worked out pretty good.
From baseball to soccer, the MLS is back tournament in Orlando continuing. Chicago just defeated Seattle 2-1 tonight. New York against Orlando. Philly versus Miami. Last night, Portland beat the LA Galaxy 2-1. LAFC tied Houston 3-3. Tomorrow night, the Earthquakes, who opened with a scoreless tie against Seattle, play Vancouver. At the sports desk, Steve Bitker, KCBS.
KCBS First for Traffic. Kim Wonderly has the latest on that front.
Things are starting to settle down a bit here. We are still looking at a bit of slow traffic getting off of the Altamont Pass, just a little bit at North Flynn. The problems that we had earlier on westbound 580 at the 205 merge from Patterson Pass have been resolved. There was a bit of a gravel or rock spill out there. This report brought to you by Dolan Law Firm. And we're going back to Lafayette to check on the situation. Looks like traffic's getting by okay, but careful just in case they have not cleared the debris. Managed to flatten a couple cars' tires on westbound 24 just before you get to Acalanes. It had been blocking the slow lane. It looks like CHP is saying indeed that this is out of the way now. Getting word of an accident for Novato. This is on northbound 101 at DeLong, right lane. A couple of cars got into it, but looks like traffic's getting by okay here. Peninsula's in great shape. Silicon Valley has been doing very well this morning. In fact, real quiet. 101, 280. You're pretty much at the speed limit as you make your way to the Cupertino side on 280 or 101 all the way up through Santa Clara into Mountain View. Dolan Law Firm, representing people injured by the fault of others and by unlawful workplace discrimination and harassment. With offices throughout the Bay Area and L.A., Dolan Law helps fight injustice. DolanLawFirm.com. Your next update is at 8:28 on the Traffic Leader, KCBS.
Our Bay Area Mancini Sleep World 6-day forecast. Now is the perfect time to buy a mattress during Mancini Sleep World's tax-free mattress sale. Sunny and warm inland, mild near the bay and the coast today. Mid-60s to mid-80s will be your basic range today, and that's going to be the story again tomorrow and Thursday. Warmer weather arrives Friday and carries us through the weekend. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. On All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. It's 8:20. Lots of talk about air travel. Some airlines are beginning to fill that dreaded middle seat again. Of course, the middle seat has a whole new connotation during the pandemic. We're joined live on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by Arnold Burnett, the author of a new study out of MIT. He's the George Eastman Professor of Management Science and Professor of Statistics at the MIT Sloan School of Management. Professor, thanks for your time. Lots of people are talking about this paper, which has not yet been peer-reviewed, but everybody wants to kind of know what were the inputs? What assumptions did you make when you started doing the numbers here?
Well, there are several assumptions. There are three issues about whether you can get infected on a plane. First of all, what is the chance a given passenger flying in that plane is contagious with COVID-19? Secondly, given that there's universal mask wearing, what is the chance that that's effective and prevents even a contagious person from infecting you? And thirdly, how far away are you from the contagious person? is the person close enough that there is a risk of transmission if the masks fail and if the person is contagious?
And this all gets into the word you used, risk, which is one of your specialties. This is a challenge for humans in general, people outside of the role of a professor of management science. We all have a hard time with risk.
Are you asking whether I agree with that?
Well, I'm asking you how we analyze, the lay people.
What I tried to do was to estimate the probability that if you are in a flight that's completely full, for example, a Boeing 737 or an Airbus 320, and you're in the coach section, three seating, 6 in a row, ABC, then an aisle, DEF. And I estimated, and the estimate I made, based upon the data from late June, was that the risk on a full flight of getting COVID is about 1 in 4,300. If the middle seat is kept empty, that risk drops to about 1 in 7,700.
7,700. Now, is that particular to the middle seat, or does that just mean if you took away a third of the seats on the airplane, you would achieve the same result?
Well, this is averaged over all 6 seats in a row. So, for example, it would be A, B, C, D, E, F, and the risk does vary a little bit depending on whether you're in a window seat or a center seat or an aisle seat, but not very much. I mean, the risk is contagious people in front of you. I assume that the seat backs were highly effective, actually. It's not like having plexiglass between you and the infected person, but that they were about 3/4 as effective as the plexiglass would be. So there was a number of assumptions that I made and came up with those numbers.
And again, the assumptions include people wearing masks. I assume you assume it's a good mask, not somebody with a paper napkin or something like that.
Well, you're absolutely right. The literature says that a good mask cuts the risk of transmission by 82%. And I used 82%, but, if you look in the literature, it's not as clear what they mean. There are the so-called the 95 masks, which are especially strong, and there are others, which are closer to paper. So if anything, I tried to be optimistic in terms of the success of various measures against the transmission of COVID.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. So as you ran the numbers and looked at the bottom line here, what did it tell you in terms of whether we should feel okay about getting on an airplane or not?
Well, that's up to a given person. I mean, the risk of COVID and even the risk of death, particularly for an older person like myself, is a lot higher statistically than the risk of being in a plane crash. I mean, those crashes are almost at the verge of extinction now. But so it is a higher risk, and people might want to take that into account. On the other hand, I think, and so well in California now, everything is a higher risk now. Whether you go into a shop or whether you go into a church. I know Governor Newsom just said the churches will be closed soon, if I understood the news reports correctly.
You did, yes. And that's a great way of looking at it. If everything's a high-risk activity, would it be possible, because I could go on for hours with you, Professor, but to do the same kind of calculus just on every other everyday event, walking to the grocery store?
I think one could, but here we have a very specific controversy that some airlines are filling the middle seat, and one airline which is prominent in San Francisco, I might mention, said that there's no benefit of keeping the middle seat open because if you're less than 6 feet away, you haven't social distanced. But that's not exactly right. The laws of physics and the ones that are in the literature say the further away you are, the lesser the risk of transmission. So if you're in the A seat, if you have the B and the C seats, if both of them are occupied as opposed to just the C seat, your risk sort of goes up by a factor of 2, actually more than a factor of 2, because the person in the B seat is closer to you than the person in the C seat, which would be, and the B seat would be empty under middle seats empty. So the risk is higher, and it is measurably higher. So of the two measures, keeping the seat open versus filling it, from a safety standpoint, it would be better to keep the seat open.
We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. That's Arnold Burnett. He's the author of this study out of MIT, and Dr. Burnett is the George Eastman Professor of Management Science and a Professor of Statistics at the MIT Sloan School of Management. All right, our Money Watch update now. We have Joan Doniger in for Jason this morning.
Stan, investors' hopes for a V-shaped economic recovery may not touch reality, and investors are sorting through some of that evidence today. The Dow is up 245, the Nasdaq is down 36, the S&P up 9. That evidence comes from the nation's big banks. Wells Fargo, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Citigroup set aside nearly $28 billion for bad loans during the second quarter. That was more than analysts expected, and all three say their economic outlook is deteriorating as the virus continues its spread. Stimulus programs have helped people stay current on debts. They end this month. The banks say you will see the effects later in the year. Wells Fargo saw its first quarterly net loss since 2008 last quarter, and it cut dividends by 80%. Its shares are falling about 6.5%. Amazon knows what you want to buy. The company's come up with a smart shopping cart that'll ring up what's in it and let you check out faster. It comes equipped with a flat screen, and it will make its debut not far from Hollywood in the Woodland Hills neighborhood of L.A. later this year. I'm Joan Doniger, Bloomberg Business for KCBS.
Geico presents quick ways to change your life. Today, try taking a walk at lunch to someplace you've never been. You could also change your life by getting to know your local Geico agent, so you could save on more than just car insurance. Oh, and since you'll be walking somewhere new, please bring a GPS so we don't have to come find you.
Did you know that treatment for ED has advanced beyond the little blue pill? The newest treatment for men seeking optimal performance is finally available in the Bay Area from the doctors at ARC Men's Health. Acoustic Wave Energy by Gainswave is the revolutionary medical procedure that treats the real cause of ED. Now you can get off Viagra and be spontaneous again naturally. Treatments are non-invasive, pain-free, and surgery-free. A quick procedure breaks down plaque and blockages, restoring blood flow and reversing ED. If you've got ED or Peyronie's disease, regardless of your age or medical history, call ARC Men's Health to schedule your consultation. ARC is PPE compliant and taking all precautions to keep patients safe. HSA cards are accepted. For information, call ARC Men's Health at 650-407-1168. That's 650-407-1168. Online at arcmenshealth.com. Call now, 650-407-1168.
The virus is in our community. You may be sick and not know it. Protect your family by wearing a mask when you go out. When you leave your home, stay 6 feet away from other people, always. Distance will help protect you from others who may not have symptoms. Wash your hands often with soap and water. Get tested if you feel sick. Learn more at sf.gov/knowbeforeyougo or call 311. Every step you take to protect yourself also protects your loved ones.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
KCBS First for Traffic. Here's all the latest for you with Kim.
All right, it's a lot quieter now, although Stan and Novato, they're still working on an accident. Counter commute, North 101, just after DeLong. It's the right lane that has been affected here. This report brought to you by Hint Water. Southbound through Marin County looks great. It has all morning. Southbound 880, a little bit of slowing as you come out of South Hayward into Union City. There had been a problem around Alvarado Niles, but that's cleared away. And look out for some insulation in the roadway. This is Santa Clara area, East 237. Before you get to Great America Parkway, that insulation has been spotted in the two right lanes. Bay Bridge keeps thinning out all the time, so much so they actually deactivated the metering lights, although as soon as they did so, now, Stan, we're seeing the slow traffic entering the tunnel, very heavy out to the center Anchorage, and then things begin to loosen up for you. Hint is pure water infused with surprisingly true fruit flavors, including watermelon, blackberry, and cherry. No sugar, no sweeteners, no calories. Available in your local grocery store or at drinkhint.com. Hint water with a touch of true fruit flavor. Next update, 8:38 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
If we're looking for temperatures to be right back about where they were yesterday, that puts the afternoon readings from the mid-60s on the coast to the mid-80s inland, 70s and 80s right around the bay. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740. KCBS.
It's the perfect time for a powerful business refresh during Dell Technologies Cyber Savings Event. It starts now with up to 50% off high-performance Windows 10 business laptops, desktops, and servers, plus top brand electronics. It's also your chance to streamline IT and simplify PC life cycles with PC as a service. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 10 Pro for business. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusinessdeals.
For muscle pain, body aches, to strains, Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast and you won't stink. Its unique formula with emu oil penetrates deep to relieve arthritis pain, sore muscles, joints, and more.
It's termite season. Call Pacific Coast Termite at 1-800-PACIFIC or visit PacificCoastTermite.com.
News that matters to you around the Bay, around the world, around the clock. All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Tuesday morning, July 14th, 2020, coming up on KCBS.
I'm Doug Sovereign with a bold claim from the Trump campaign.
If the voting in California was genuinely fair, I think that President Trump would actually come out on top.
Pandemic-related unemployment hits hard among California's communities of color, and schools around the country considering strategies for reopening. They're not all on the same page. Good morning, I'm Stan Bunger, KCBS News Time, 8:31. A broad claim by a senior representative of the Trump campaign saying if California would shut down voter fraud, the president would win the state in November. KCBS reporter Doug Sovereign with more.
If voting in California is fair and not tainted by fraud, President Trump will turn this deep blue state red in November, claims Trump attorney Jenna Ellis, senior legal advisor to his reelection campaign. On our show, The State of California, Ellis claimed without any evidence that there are millions of illegal votes here, blaming that on theft of absentee ballots from senior homes and letter carriers and systematic forgery orchestrated by the Democrats.
I mean, looking just at L.A., I mean, there was it was something like over 110% of just L.A. County in the last election that voted because of that. And you're thinking, okay, well, how can 110% of the voters that are registered actually vote? That's something where, of course, there's a wide opportunity for fraud. And so if you look at the data without being biased either way, it should be something that's a nonpartisan issue to make sure to prevent against the opportunity for fraud and make sure that safeguards are in place.
Well, in fact, they are, with barcodes and signature checks. And in reality, the turnout in the March primary in L.A. was 34%, not 110. Even though Trump lost California by a record margin in 2016, Ellis says he will campaign here, planning rallies at which he will require supporters to sign a COVID-19 waiver despite insisting the pandemic is in check.
They're always a great time. President Trump looks forward to it, and so do the people who come. I mean, there's a lot of people who are really excited about the upcoming rally.
Ellis says the campaign will comply with local and state orders requiring masks and social distancing. Doug Sovereign, KCBS.
The pandemic disproportionately impacting California's communities of color in a number of ways. KCBS's Melissa Colross reports recent research shows that in addition to higher rates of the disease in these communities, Black and Latino women are the most likely to be out of work due to the crisis.
3 times as many Black and Latinx women lost jobs in the Golden State between March and May as white men, according to an analysis by the California Budget and Policy Center. Center Executive Director Chris Haney says women and people of color tend to work in sectors hard hit by the pandemic and shelter-in-place orders.
We're not shopping at bricks and mortar stores as much. We're not going out to restaurants. We're not going into services like salons and nail parlors and the like.
And Haney says many of these workers were in low-wage jobs and already struggling. He adds it's not good for the state economy to have so many people out of work. So
the faster we can get the response to COVID-19 done well, the faster the economy can come back and the faster those jobs can bounce back.
Black and Latinx communities across California also are being hard hit by the virus itself. Melissa Colross, KCBS.
Oakland City Council today due to consider an ordinance that would mandate laid-off employees in the hospitality, restaurant, stadium, and travel industries be given first shot at getting their jobs back if and when their former employer reopens. The employers would have to offer laid-off workers their jobs back based on seniority, so employers who wanted to replace older workers with younger workers would not be able to do that, but employers would not be forced to hire back any more employees than they need. It's 8:35 at KCBS, 2 minutes away from traffic news with Kim.
You hear that? That's the sound of falling home mortgage rates, and they're falling fast. Combine these falling rates with a no closing cost home loan from Fremont Bank, and you've got yourself an ideal time to take cash out of your current home or even grab a purchase loan for a new one. These rates won't fall forever. So get on over to Fremont Bank and pick up a great one while you can. Finance your home with Fremont Bank. Visit fremontbank.com, equal housing lender.
At Airport Home Appliance, we're more than just guaranteed low prices and the largest selection of appliance brands in Northern California. We're about finding the right appliance for the right people. That's why we carry the entire line of Monogram appliances. With Monogram, it's not just one detail, it's many. When you put them all together, you create appliances that look, feel, and perform as if they were designed perfectly for you. Upgrade to a Monogram kitchen today and receive up to 3 free appliances at one of Airport Home Appliance's 6 Bay Area locations.
You outlive your money. Will your savings or investments earn you enough to retire? If you're only getting 2 to 3% return on your money market CD or bond fund, chances are they won't. But now you can get a 10 to 12% return with no market risk. It's how smart investors have been earning double-digit returns for years. Call Reliant Capital, 800-788-1000. Reliant's clients know one of the best-kept investment secrets, and it's eligible for an IRA or 401k rollover. Call for your free brochure, 800-788-1000.
Did you get your assets kicked by the 08 recession? If so, the next one's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. If you're fed up with getting only 2 to 3% return on your CD, money market, or bond fund, here's a way to earn 10 to 12% with no market risk of any kind. Call 800-788-1000, Reliant Capital. They'll explain how you can get the returns Warren Buffett's been earning for years, 10 to 12%. And it's eligible for an IRA or 401k rollover. Reliant Capital. Call 800-788-1000 for your free brochure.
Take the census today. Go to my2020census.gov. Call 844-330-2020 or mail your form. We know we can do great things when we come together to support our communities. Do your part today.
KCBS News Time, 8:38. First for traffic, it's an update from Kim Wonderly in your local Honda Dealers Traffic Center.
All right, Stan, we are looking at some heavy traffic on the Bay Bridge, and I don't see any incidents reported here. It was kind of an oddball thing because they did take the metering lights off at 8:13 this morning, so there's no longer any wait at the toll plaza, but there's definitely slow traffic heading out from those towers before you get to the Yerba Buena Island Tunnel, and it stays quite heavy out to the San Francisco Anchorage. Then it all starts to loosen up. Actually, it's loosening up a lot now as you come out of the tunnel, so if there was anything out there blocking it, appears to be gone now. Central Freeway northbound 101, we see the slow traffic as you make your way out to the Hayes Valley and the Octavia set of lights there. It is backing up traffic on the northbound Central Freeway. As for Marin County, last time we talked there was an accident on northbound 101 over by DeLong, but it's the southbound side where we see the slow traffic, and I know they were talking about running a traffic break right in the area, so there might be something that is affecting the southbound lanes, but it's just a short blip of slowing. After that, you're on your way, and the rest of the way, all the way down to and across the Golden Gate Bridge, you're in very good shape. Your next update is at 8:48 on the Traffic Leader, KCBS.
Our forecast for the Bay Area calling for temperatures to be pretty stable relative to yesterday. That's going to put the afternoon highs in the warmest spots in the mid-80s. San Jose, low 80s today. Oakland, mid-70s. And San Francisco in the mid-60s. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. So on All News 106.9 and AM 740, KCBS.
If you're only monitoring your credit to help protect your identity, you could miss certain threats like your info for sale on the dark web. Good thing there's LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Get LifeLock now and save more during their special summer sale. Go to lifelock.com, use promo code RISK. Sale ends July 20th.
With the volatility of the stock market, finding an investment opportunity unaffected by stock market movements is critical. That's why smart investors are looking to alternatives like Proactive Funds, delivering consistent high yields. Proactive Funds is a secured real estate income fund that offers a steady income stream with targeted returns of 12 to 16% annually through investments secured by real estate assets. Proactive Funds creates meaningful economic benefits to communities and investors alike through revitalization and management of quality housing in underserved areas. Their hands-on strategy prioritizes stable cash flow generation and returns. Proactive Funds is secured by First Position Real Estate and uses a third-party fund administrator with over $130 billion assets under management. Get 12 to 16% annual returns. Call before this limited offer is over. Call now, 800-626-2089. That's 800-626-2089. 800-626-2089. Or visit proactivefunds.com. An offer to buy or sell any security is only made by a private placement memorandum. Read it first. Past performances are no guarantee for future results. Returns are annualized. Attention investors. Here is in 1929, 87, 08. Now again in 2020. The market has lost over trillions of dollars in value. At Riverfront Brokerage, our investors haven't lost a dime because investments are protected in an asset class that has been around for over 100 years and will retain its value through all the market losses and world events. Now, as in the past, our investors are expecting a 60% yield at maturity. Learn more about this opportunity. Call Riverfront Brokerage today at 877-484-2424. Don't lose what you've worked so hard for. Investors have the option of investing using a cash, self-directed IRA, or 401ks. Call Riverfront Brokerage and get your free investor's guide to protecting your retirement capital. That's 877-484-2424. Riverfront Brokerage is not a United States security dealer or broker or U.S. investment advisor. This is not an offer to sell or a solicitation of any other to buy any securities.
841 at KCBX. Well, it's all under control now, fully contained. That cruise fire in the hills east of Gilroy in rural Santa Clara County. That fire broke out almost 10 days ago. Only destroyed one structure, but did burn about 8.5 square miles and throw off a lot of smoke. All the months of the pandemic and the attendant stress, well, it may be driving people to use more pot. KCBS's Jeffrey Schaub in Santa Rosa.
Business is budding at Santa Rosa's Flora Terra, a combined cannabis cultivation facility and retail space. COO Alicia Wingard says business is up.
I would say 15 to 20%.
15 to 20% growth.
That is correct. And there's a lot of factors involved. That's not just our retail store specifically. We're also a cultivation facility, and we've recently started jarring up our flower and selling it to other facilities.
Where she says sales are also up. In Sonoma County, she says many people are suffering anxiety. It's been a rough 3 years. The fires of 2017, the Kincaid wildfire last year, and now COVID-19. Well, what's happened since March?
Since March, we've seen an increase in new users. We've seen an increase in existing users. I think everybody's stress levels have been amplified.
In Santa Rosa, Jeffrey Schaub, KCBS.
KCBS News Time, 8:43. We'll check in with Steve Bitker for a sports update. That's 2 minutes out.
Mortgage rates are at historic lows, so if you have a mortgage, refinance it and forget it. You'll never have to worry about refinancing again. Network Capital Funding is offering our lowest 30-year fixed rate ever. 2.625 with a 2.64% APR. Incredible, with no origination fees or discount points. Network Capital has built a reputation for saving people time and money with our unique process that's fast, simple, and secure. Our 30-year fixed rate is 2.625 with a 2.64% APR. Incredible! These are historically low rates you may never see again. So refinance it and forget it. That's a 30-year fixed at 2.625 with a 2.64% APR. Call the experts at Network Capital Funding now. 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1-HIT as in home run. Call now and save big on your refi. 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1448. NMLS ID 11712. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Licensed by the California Department of Business Oversight under the Finance Lenders Law. Number 603D787. An equal opportunity lender. Rates subject to change and credit approval. Call 800-500-1-HIT for more information.
Essential businesses in California have been on the front lines. Slowly, we're opening up. From the beaches to the parks to the freeways. Together, we can help our local businesses rebound fast. Move California forward. For more info on what's moving forward in your community, go to radio.com/Move California Forward.
Clover Sonoma is grateful for our local restaurants. You have long provided a sense of community, and in recent months you have worked tirelessly to provide a sense of normalcy during this difficult time. We know that it is not easy operating a restaurant in normal circumstances, and your dedication continues to amaze us. As CEO of Clover Sonoma, I want to personally take this time to thank the restaurant staff, the waiters, hosts and hostesses, cooks and bussers, everyone on the front lines, providing safe and delicious meals to our community. We appreciate you.
Hi, this is Damon Bruce. When you visit a Dolan showroom, you'll see more Andersen windows and patio doors, from the elegant 400 series to the affordable Fibrex. At Dolan's, you'll always pay less for highest quality, including Andersen. Get details at dolanlumber.com. That's dolanlumber.com.
Coming up on KCBS, could it be a benefit of the pandemic? Serious head injuries among kids seem to be down. It's 8:45. We update KCBS Sports News now, sponsored by LifeLock. Here's Steve.
Stan, I could get used to this 6 a.m. morning soccer from the MLS is Back tournament, although it will come to an end on the 23rd, and then the tournament heads into the quarterfinals, the title match on August the 11th. This morning, good match between the Seattle Storm and the Chicago Fire after a scoreless first half. Chicago took the lead in the 52nd minute. Seattle tied it in the 77th on a goal assisted by Stanford's Jordan Morris. And then Mauricio Pineda scored the game winner in the 84th for Chicago off a corner kick. Chicago beat Seattle 2-1. Tonight, New York against Orlando, Philadelphia versus Miami. The Earthquakes play Vancouver tomorrow night. In WSL, that's the Women's League, the quarterfinals in suburban Salt Lake City will feature two-time defending champion North Carolina Courage playing the Portland Timbers. That's in one quarterfinal match. The NFL has unveiled the Oakley Mouth Shield, designed by Oakley along with doctors and engineers to limit the spread of COVID-19. The shields have been distributed to all 32 teams. Some players have gotten their first chance to put them on, and the reviews are mixed. The plastic sheets extend from the upper helmet, attaching to the face guard down below. There are airways and openings at the mouth, but none that allow the transmission of droplets, according to the chair of the NFL's engineering committee. At the sports desk, Steve Bitker, KCBS.
Sometimes the urgency of a better future compels you to act. We are in such a moment as a global pandemic and a cry for racial justice challenges communities.
I'm Raquel Gonzalez, Silicon Valley Market President for Bank of America. Our company just committed $1 billion over 4 years to help communities address growing economic and social inequality. This means providing help where it's needed most: healthcare, housing, jobs, and supporting small businesses. Along with my teammates here in Silicon Valley, we commit to the important work that lies before us.
Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
Sometimes our food is more than just food. It's an integral part of our community. So this year, Discover is giving $5 million to support Black-owned restaurants. To places like Rodney Scott's Barbecue in Charleston, Post Office Pies in Birmingham, Back in the Day Bakery in Savannah, and hundreds more places in your local community, all across the country. Learn how you can show your support at Discover.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
We're the team you know.
A sign of the Bay Area's limping toward economic recovery: traffic.
We're the team you trust.
Over the last several weeks, we've watched the morning commute turn into something resembling what it was before the shutdown.
We are the Bay Area's #1 news station, KCBS.
Whether you stop by a locally owned Napa Auto Parts, Napa Auto Care, or visit Napa online, if you need help with your ride, you can count on Napa Know-How. Discover University District in Rohnert Park, a beautiful wine country community with everything you want, from a neighborhood park to spacious 1- and 2-story home office-friendly residences with up to 6 bedrooms priced from the mid-500,000s. Visit liveuniversitydistrict.com.
Our KCBS traffic news is next. Here's Kim Wonderly.
All right, Stan, we're taking a look at Union City. The Chilton Auto-Body collision cam sees that the right lane is, they're trying to clear some lumber out of it. This has happened on South 880 just after Whipple into Union City. There is a slow pattern that's stretching back to about Tennyson, so do expect just a little bit of a delay. It's not bad. There's also a problem in San Leandro. Someone spotted a mattress in lanes of traffic. This is on westbound 580 near 150th or so. Looks like it's blocking the second or the third lane in. It looks like middle lanes affected here. Traffic seems to be getting by without issue, though. Bay Bridge, as I told you last time, they turned the metering lights off. It did create a bit of a slow pattern, and that's just about dissipated.